All right, let's just jump right in. We need to talk about something, well, something pretty terrifying, actually. It's this hidden vulnerability that might be sitting right at the heart of your business. See, you might think you own your success, but what if I told you you're just renting it? And your landlords are some of the biggest, most powerful companies on earth.
And I'm not being dramatic here. I mean that, literally. What if you could wake up one morning and that stream of customers you've spent years building just vanishes? Gone. Not slowed down, not a little dip, just stopped. It sounds like a total nightmare, right? Well, for thousands of businesses, this is becoming a reality.
So, let's get into the how. How does this even happen? Well, think of it like this. The ground under our feet in the digital world is constantly shifting. And for businesses that thought they were built on solid rock, they're finding out it was actually quicksand.
Okay, let's take a real-world example. Just a few months back, in October 2025, Google pushed out a massive update to its search algorithm. Now, you know all those businesses that poured tons of money and years of effort into SEO, to get that top spot on Google? Overnight, they woke up and they were basically invisible. All that traffic, their leads, their revenue, poof, gone.
And here's the really crazy part, the part you have to understand. It wasn't because they did anything wrong. Their products were still amazing, their websites were top-notch. They vanished for one simple reason. Google changed the rules of the game. They were just players on a board, and the person who owns the board decided to flip it over. That right there, that is the danger of building your business on rented land. And get this, just as everyone was trying to pick up the pieces from that Google earthquake, another shockwave hit. And it came from another one of the giants. You see, this isn't just a one-off thing. It's a pattern, a really dangerous one. So what happened? Well, in December, Meta basically took the superpower away from its own ad platform. You know that super precise, laser-focused ad targeting that made Facebook and Instagram ads so effective? Well, because of some new EU regulations, they had to gut it. It's gone. That ability to find your exact perfect customer vanished. So now, businesses that built their whole model on those ads are pretty much just throwing money into a black hole and hoping for the best. Okay, so let's put it all together. The big takeaway here is that these are not isolated incidents. This is the new reality. The platforms you depend on for your customers, they can change the rules. And they will change the rules. And believe me, when they do, it's always to protect themselves, not you. I mean, just look at this timeline. In October, it was Google. By December, it's Meta. This isn't some what-if fantasy. This is a who's next reality. So you have to ask yourself, is your business built on the next platform to make this list? TikTok? LinkedIn? Who's it going to be? And this quote, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? You wake up Monday morning and your revenue is gone. Not reduced, not down a little, gone. This isn't about having a bad quarter. This is about your business being completely wiped out. That is the real price you pay for renting your customer relationships instead of actually owning them.
But, okay, there is another way to approach this. In fact, the most successful, most resilient companies in the world, they are absolutely obsessed with this problem. They fight against dependency like it's the plague because they know it is fatal. Think about Steve Jobs for a second. The iPod was a cash cow for Apple, right? It was just printing money. But Jobs knew its days were numbered. He saw the future. So what did he do? He killed it himself with the iPhone. He chose to destroy his own golden goose before someone else could. He chose ownership over dependency. Or look at Disney. They do the same thing. They don't wait for a theme park ride to get old and creaky. Nope. They will tear down a perfectly good, beloved attraction to build something new. Why on earth would they do that? Because they flat out refuse to depend on what's just working now. They're always looking ahead. And even Jeff Bezos, the guy who runs Amazon, one of the most dominant companies ever, he thinks the same way. He's on record saying that thinking Amazon is inevitable is just stupid. Why? Because he studied history, and he knows that even the biggest empires can collapse. It's that constant paranoia, that awareness of just how fragile everything is, that pushes these guys to control their own destiny. So the big question is, how do we get that mindset? How do we stop being a nervous renter, always worried about the landlord changing the locks, and start becoming the owner of our own property? The answer is simple, but it's not easy. You have to stop renting access to your customers and start owning the relationship with them directly. And this really breaks it down, right? On one side, you have the renter. They're totally dependent on algorithms, they're vulnerable to every little platform change, and they're just throwing money at audiences they have zero control over. But then, you have the owner. The owner is independent, they're secure, they have their own system for getting customers that nobody, not Google, not Meta, can ever take away from them. They own their list, they own their destiny.
And look, building this ownership thing, it isn't just some vague, fluffy concept. It's a real, tangible system. It's about creating your own customer-generating machine that you and only you control from start to finish. So let's walk through how this machine works. Step 1 is all about direct response campaigns. Your only goal here is to generate leads, to get names, and more importantly, email addresses. That becomes your private database, your most valuable asset. Then step 2. You can't let those leads get cold. You use automated, multi-step follow-ups to build a real relationship, but on your terms, not some platforms. Step 3. You create offers that make people act now, pulling them deeper into your world off of social media. And finally, step 4. You build retention systems that turn a one-time buyer into a customer for life. The beauty of this is that the entire machine operates completely under your control.
And that's the whole point of this. The goal isn't just to, survive the next algorithm apocalypse. The goal is to build a business that's completely immune to it. A business where your success depends on what you do, not on what some random committee decides in a boardroom in Silicon Valley.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a hard look at your business. Are you an owner or are you a renter? Because in today's world, continuing to rent access to your customers, well, that's not just a bad strategy, it's a bet that sooner or later you're guaranteed to lose.